And you mentioned, that you said, you think Ottawa made a good trade for Jakob Chychrun. And I think a lot of people probably it's a good trade when you're on social media, you're looking and other fans are like, how come our team didn't do that? Because it wasn't the sort of king's ransom that we were led to believe. Now,
it's a good trade for Ottawa.
Yeah.
It's a terrible trade for the Coyotes.
But
and it's, those don't have to be equal on both sides.
Two things can be true at once, but you know what? Let me defend Bill Armstrong a little bit here, because I think a lot of people look at this and you're like, that guy overplayed his hand. It's a game of poker, and they finally had to call it, and he was bluffing. Here, let me defend him a little bit after I had some conversations. And I think what happened was, I think Bill Armstrong probably had better deals on the table, but it all involved them taking money back. And it was ownership that said, no. We're not taking money back. So look, he's now playing shorthanded here. He can't take Ottawa when they moved Nikita Zaitsev out, whatever it was, a week or 10 days ago. That was kind of a precursor move for them that, okay, now we're not going to staple Nikita Zaitsev to a trade, because it became very clear that if they wanted to get Jakob Chychrun, they can't add Nikita Zaitsev, because Arizona is just simply not willing to do it. So at the end of the day, Ottawa was like, yeah, we'll give you a first, couple of seconds, and we'll take the full Chychrun freight, and we're not going to give you any bad contracts back. And the Coyotes ownership's like, that's the best we can do. And I don't know how much you blame the general manager there. Like, I really don't.
And that's fine. Know. That's fine. And yeah, I accept I take all the points you just made. I'm saying this is a bad deal for the Coyotes. I don't care if it's the GM or the owners or whatever it is. Somebody somewhere along the line screwed this up. And if I'm a Coyotes fan, I don't particularly, when I hear the defense of Bill Armstrong, that doesn't make me feel any better. In fact, it makes me feel worse, because GMs come and go, and your owners you're kind of stuck with. So I got to be honest. Bill Armstrong has said it was very important to us that we didn't have to take money back. I don't fully get that, because they've been taking money for years now. They've been the clearinghouse for dead money in order to get to the floor and all this other stuff. So to say that we're willing to take on bad money for everything up to and including Patrick Kane a few days ago, but we're not going to do it for a star young player, where this could be the biggest trade that we make as far as bringing assets in, I don't fully get it. And look, I do understand that, when you talk about Patrick Kane, the cap hit is different than the actual dollars out. And that's, maybe that all adds up. But man, this is a bummer for me if I'm a Coyotes fan, because you had a year and a half and there was all sorts of buzz around this guy, all sorts of talk about who'd pay up to get him. And then at the end of it, it turns out that, as you say, your GM was negotiating with one hand tied behind his back because he couldn't take any money back on a contract that was already dirt cheap. To me, no brainer for Ottawa or any other team to say, yeah, okay, if the price is going to be as cheap as it turned out to be, and we should say it wasn't dirt cheap, because I think we've spent so much time the last few weeks watching teams like Boston and Tampa and Toronto and whoever else trade their first round picks, and it feels like those picks are devalued. And the Senators pick is not in that same range. This Senators pick, and it's top 5 protected. Every other protected. All these other picks are top 10 protected. So the fact that this one came in at top 5 kind of gives the game away as far as what Bill Armstrong is gunning for here. He's saying that this could be the 7th or 8th pick in the draft.
Give me 8, right? If you're Bill Armstrong, you're like, if that's the 8th overall pick.
But you get, there's no, it is protected top 5. So you're not getting another Connor Bedard lottery pick. And Pierre Dorion, after what his team did to Detroit this week, probably feels a lot better about moving that pick, especially knowing that if worse comes to worse and the team craters and it ends up, his team falls down the standings, he's still got those lottery odds. So he's not going to be the guy who traded away a top 5 pick. He, 6 or 7 or 8. Honestly, I mean, that's, that's certainly worth far, far more than the 32nd pick for Boston. But it's still not a lot to give up for a guy as good as Jakob Chychrun on a deal that's that cheap, that fills a need for the Ottawa Senators. I mean, it's an A+ deal for Ottawa, whichever way you slice it.